we will just talk about what Git is, what GitHub are, and Git and GitHub are, why they're important, why you need to use them. And yeah, but before we start, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Alexander. I'm GDC lead, Google Developer Student Club lead at Conestoga College. And yeah, I'm a CPA student on my third year, essentially. Currently, I'm completing my co-op at Vehicle. So it's this is the name of the company. It's Vehicle. You feel free to check them out. It's a yeah, that's essentially about me. And I will pass it to Kenna.
Hey everyone, good evening. So I'm Kenna. I'm GDSC Tech Lead, and I'm currently in my second semester studying Information Technology Business Analysis. And I'm also working as a part-time data engineer for Mine Analytics. It's a startup based in US. So yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for introducing yourself. Yeah, so we are here just to help you learn the tools. And yeah, probably we can start with the agenda. So let me pull up my notes, sorry, so I don't miss anything. Yeah, just so we have our interests already. So we will have introduction to Git basics. Sorry, is everyone here? Can you confirm? Just something unexpected happened. Hello?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, it was a little bit unusual.
No.
So yeah, we'll get basics. So we will talk like what Git is. We'll talk about some concepts, and then necessary concepts like beginner. So again, this is totally beginner friendly. You don't need to know anything about Git and GitHub. If you already know something about it, it's also great. It will be like kind of a refresher, and you'll be able to solidify your existing knowledge, right? And then, so the next part would be Git demo. So we'll have some practice with Git, and then we will talk about GitHub, and at the end, Q&A. Cool. And then in the meantime, so yeah, so can I just send you the link? Please while I'm talking. So right now it will be just theoretical, so you just need to listen. But in the meantime, I just want you to follow me as well. Please go to the website that Kenna just sent you in the chat, and download Git. So to do that, you will go to this website. This link moves you here, and just select your select your operating system. Yeah, and yeah, feel free to download. And also, when you get to that moment, to that stage of installation, just again, select all the default options. Just here, when you get to that point, so adjust your path environment. How would you like to use Git from the command line? Just select the third one, use Git and optional Unix tools from the command prompt. So it will be just easier for everyone to work with me this way. And yeah, so that's about it. Just again, to me, I just want you to follow me as well. So please download it. Cool. And actually, sorry, can you also maybe start recording on your end? So we have like 3 corners just in case, or if it's already recording, maybe it will be only one is possible. So
yeah, you just need to give me permission. If you could give me permission, I'll just start recording it.
Okay, sure. So cool. Cool, yeah, done. So great. So let's talk about Git. So what Git is, right? So this is, maybe you already heard about it, right? Because it's a very common tool to use. So essentially, this is its logo, Git. So the definition of Git. Git is a version control system. And essentially, it's used to track changes in your computer files. So imagine you work on a project, right? And like as you go, you add more and more files to your project, like you write more code. And Git helps you track the changes that you make so that at any point you can revert back to the specific point in your project, right? So imagine like this, so yeah, let me just go ahead. You can track any types of files like C#, Word docs, text files, it doesn't really matter. That's essentially it. What these dots are, these are commits. So commits, it's like a snapshot. Commit is a snapshot of your current project, right? Project state. So for instance, let's say master is like the main branch. It's called branch, where you put your commits, and we will talk about branches a little bit later, so don't worry. So essentially, imagine this first commit is like create an index HTML page, right? And then here, the second commit would be like add a button. The third commit would be add some background color. The fourth commit would be, I don't know, add another page, right? So you track different changes so that imagine that at this point somewhere, like you encounter a bug or a problem that cannot be reverted, right? So you are stuck and it's better to go back to a certain commit. And this way, like you can just simplify your life. So essentially it's distributed or decentralized version control. So what it means, it's essentially every developer has its own copy of the repository on their computer. And then like of different commits. So we will talk again a little bit about repositories on the next slide, sorry. And then essentially what Git allows us to do, it allows multiple developers to collaborate on the same project, right? So essentially many developers can work on a project, so they can create different branches and work on different features, right? So imagine you're in a company and you're like, and you have like 50 people, right? So 50 people can work on different features. So you can like create different branches, and then each team can work on a separate branch, right? On a separate feature, essentially, as you can see. So like almost all the time, a separate branch is dedicated for a separate feature, right? So essentially, like imagine this team will work, feature 1 would be like login, feature 2 would be like add like purchasing logic, right? Or something like this, like on Amazon, imagine. So that's about it. Yep, and essentially what it also allows us to do, it allows us to track who made what changes and when. So essentially, again, it's very useful when you work on a team environment. So like you have, again, 30 people, and you can see what changes were made by which developer at what developer at what time exactly, right? So it's very easy to track. And yeah, and again, you can revert back at any time. So if you're like, for instance, you are at that stage, like you're like, you want to see how your project looked like in the past, you can just revert back and see what it was before, right? So yeah, I'm sorry, it was a little bit confusing, I know, but keep just I hope it will be clarified as we go. So let's just talk a little bit about other concepts. So essentially, again, as I mentioned, so commit is a snapshot of your code, right? So you can just like, again, we will have a demo, so it will become more clear as we go. But again, you created an HTML page. you do commit. So Git takes a snapshot of all your project and adds it to a repository. And what a repository is a storage location of your project. So essentially for your commits, right? So it essentially repository stores all of your commits and like commit history, right? Essentially, as I said, Git keeps track of your code history by making commits, and commits are a snapshot of your code at a certain time. So as you can see on a previous slide here, every dot is essentially mean to commit. So as you add something to your project, you do commit. Okay. Then where is it? Okay. Okay. You can also, yeah. Let's talk about this diagram. Don't worry about these commits, these commands for now. I will explain them later as we do our demo. So working directory is essentially, and again, I will refer back to this diagram as when we do demo. So again, if you are a little bit confused right now, it's totally fine. Again, when we do demo, it will be more clear. Working directory is essentially your project, and we will work like I will show you on the next slide. We can yeah, so working directory is where you work, where you create your project on your computer. Staging area, it's a preparation area for your for doing your commits, right? So sometimes you want to add multiple files, for instance, to your commit. So like as you go, for instance, you can add so yeah, this is like to prepare. Yeah, so this is this staging area is essentially preparation area for your commit. So what do you want to put in your commit, right? So it allows you adjust what you want to put in your commit before you actually do the commit, right? And repository is actually like where the commit history is stored, right? That's essentially it. There are two types of repositories. Local, as you can see here. You can see my screen, right? And my cursor as well. Can somebody confirm it with the audio? Cool. Perfect. Appreciate it. Yeah, and remote. So there are two types of repositories, local and remote. So local, it means it is on your machine, on your computer locally, right? So on your laptop, on your desktop, whatever. Remote, it means it's on the internet, so it's accessible. So to work on a local repository, no internet is needed. To work on a remote repository, you actually need internet, right? And to connect to remote repository, again, we will talk about it a little bit later. You also need the internet, and you can use GitHub for this, right? And we will talk about GitHub for remote repositories a little bit later. Yeah, and just another note I have for myself is, so when files are committed into a remote repository, other developers can also pull changes onto their machine. So imagine like you create a remote repository. So imagine you have like a project, you have a website, and you created the local repository, and then with GitHub, you created a remote repository. So, and if you make this remote repository public, it means that other developers can also view your project and also can download your project on their machines, right? So you can download projects, remote repositories on your machine as well. Okay, I'm talking too much already, but yeah, just basic commands before we start our demo. So don't worry, again, just no worries if it's a little bit confusing. We'll do demo and it will clarify a lot of things. Just before we start, so after this slide, we'll start a demo. So Git init is essentially like to initialize a local repo, right? So it just to create a local repository on your machine, right? Then Git add a file then you specify what file. It adds files to a staging area. So whatever file you specify here. So for instance, imagine you want to add to a staging area like index.html, right? So, and then you would say git add index.html. Again, we will do that. I'll explain it in advance so it's not that confusing. Then git status, check which files are staged. So check, essentially this command is used to check what files are in the staging area and which are not in the staging area yet, and which files are not tracked at all, right? So this this command just helps you essentially identify these things. Git commit is like it takes a snapshot of your code in staging. So whatever you put in your staging area, when you do git commit, it will take a snapshot of your project and it will do commit with it, right? So take a snapshot essentially. And then git push, it means to push local repo to a remote one. So again, we will talk about git push a little bit later. So it means like if I go to the previous slide, so this is like git. So again, working directory, git add, it adds it to the staging area, add your files to a staging area. Git commit makes a commit. Git push, it means you put your local repo, you push your local project into a remote repository, so you can make it publicly available, right? And then git pull, so git pull, it means pull the latest changes from a remote repo. And then git clone is essentially copy a repository to your machine, right? It's not here, not on this diagram, but git clone is essentially like if you want to take a project from somewhere else, from the internet, you can just do git clone and you specify, again, we will do that, so don't worry. And this is just a helpful cheat, sorry. This is here. Could you please send the link as well?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, this is a great resource. Again, don't worry about it now. It's maybe after the session, it will make more sense. Yeah, but for now, let's keep it like this. Perfect. So that's about the theory. Ken, please, I hope you're still here with me. Unfortunately, I cannot see you, but yeah. So hopefully I didn't scare you too much. So don't worry. We're just in a couple of minutes, I believe it will improve, like your understanding will be improved. So can you please confirm that you see just a empty screen? Cool.
Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, I have, so let's do demo now. Can you say in the chat if you installed Git already, and just want to see how many people, or just raise your install it. Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your involvement. So yeah, it shouldn't take too long. So just again, this link, just follow, select this option. Again, if you even skip this part, it's not like very bad, so don't worry. So yeah, that's about it. Then I believe we can start. Then yeah, if you didn't install yet, just go to that link again. I will just copy it and paste it here again. And you can maybe catch up as we go. Oh, sorry, I sent the wrong place. Cool. Can I already sent? Thank you. So yeah, we can start our demo. To do that, I will use this GDSC folder where all club events are. Essentially, yeah. I minimized it a little bit, so because I don't want you to see all my files. But yeah, essentially to do that, again, to start is very simple. Just to confirm that everything is good, type git bash. And you should see that in your search. I don't know, whatever. Again, could you could you please confirm that you are able to a participant requests that live transcription be enabled for the meeting? Well, what is the, can somebody explain what it is? I'm just sorry, not to go with Zoom. It's like subtitles or what? Anyone?
What is it again?
Somebody just requested a live transcription. Sorry. Okay, I will enable it. Hopefully it will not damage anything. Okay. So yeah, essentially it's like subtitles. Okay, cool. So in the chat, could you also please confirm? Could you also please confirm that you have Git Bash here? Cool. See, 1 yes, 2 yes, 3, 4, 5. Cool. That's great. So after you open it, you will see this window. And let's just ensure that our installation was successful. To do that, you just do git -- version. And yeah, you just should see your Git version here. So mine is 233. I just reinstalled it yesterday, so it should be the most up to date. And again, if you don't keep up, I will try to do my best to, so everyone is in the same loop. But if you're a little bit behind, no worries, you will be able to rewatch this on our YouTube channel. Yeah, we'll show the link after the session. So yeah, just so no worries about that part. So that's great. Let's start. Just create. You can create a folder. Just create a new empty folder. I will call it Git Workshop, or let's call it my project. Actually, my project. So let's create a folder. So you can create it anywhere on your desktop, anywhere you want, and then just click on it. And here you will be able to see this option, Git Bash here. So just click on it, and after you do that, again, this command line will be shown, right? And this is what we will work with. So, and this is important. So it should be the same path as your folder is in, right? So in here you see mine is users Alexander desktop GDSC. And here, so it's root. Yeah, essentially it means that's good. So desktop GDSC and then my project, right? So this one. So it's automatically just opens it for you, right? In the appropriate directory. This directory is very important. So again, I will just repeat, right click, Git Bash here, and then you will have on your folder that you just created, okay? So that's about it. So we created our project folder. Then again, just a little bit of introduction. So Git, we will use command line. So command line is like essentially where you can type some commands, right? Don't be scared about command line in general. I just remember when I just started learning Git even, I was very scared about all of these crazy commands, how people can do that, all of that crazy stuff. But again, it just takes some time to get used to it, but it's a very convenient tool. So command line is actually should be like your friend number one. So that's yeah, I will explain all the commands I type. So essentially, command line is an alternative to your GUI, graphical user interface. So you can create like a folder. You see, you can create a folder like this, new and then folder, or you can create a folder with command line. And this is way easier and way quicker. So you see, like to create a new folder, I need to click once, click twice, click 3 times, and then type the name. But so it's like 4 different actions essentially, but with command line, it's just one. So it's way quicker, way easier, especially when you work on a huge project. It's like helps you a lot. So let's start. I'm inside. So I'll just go inside this folder, and you can see that it's completely empty, right? And I will create index HTML file, and I will create a styles CSS file. So to create a file with command line, you just use touch command and index.html. And you can see on the left, it just appeared. And then I do touch styles.css. And it created me like two different files. Then I want to open my editor. So I will use Visual Studio Code. Oh no, it's crazy. So I will use Visual Studio Code. You can use whatever you would like to. There is actually a short, so you can either go back and drag and drop it here, or you can just do code dot, and it will open the project for you in here and Visual Studio automatically. Okay, I will actually close it for now so it doesn't freak out. So I will just drag and drop it so it's easier for everyone. Yeah, throughout the files. And here, let's just do some basic stuff. Let's just create a basic, again, it's not important, just whatever, type whatever you want. In these files, I'll just do color red. Cool. And yeah, so that's essentially it. I will go back to this folder. And so also important moment, I suggest you enable autosave so you don't forget to save the file, because you will not be able to do anything unless you save files. So you need to save files to do commits, okay? Because otherwise changes will not be reflected on your commit history. Okay, so let's start. So we made some changes. Now let's init our repository. So if we go here, as I said, so git init initializes your repository. So let's just do git init. And you see that it actually created our .git folder. So it means that the folder is hidden. If you cannot see it here, just go to view and then hidden item. So if I uncheck it, I will not be able to see it. If you check it, you will be able to see it. So that's as simple as that. Then can you share what's able to track? Yeah, just again, I see there are some comments. Can you share index code? Don't worry, just type hello. You don't need to, it can even be like HTML file. It's the content of the file is not important, just type something. So, yep, and if you weren't able to use, yeah, just you can also, if you cannot drag and drop, then just file and open folder and then navigate to the folder that you want to work with, okay? Cool. Then, what else? So we initialized our repository. So we created our local repository here. So if we go to this, we created local repo, okay? And then our next step would be to, we need to configure your name and your email. So let's just do git config, then -- global user dot name, and then in quotes, just specify your name. Mine will be Alexander. So I'll maybe actually paste it here. Cool. And then to check if it worked, you just do git config .get and then user.name. So and you can see that my name is Alexander. So, and then you do the same thing with emails. So you don't need to, essentially when we do this, it's when we push it to global, to remote repositories, it just, it can track who you are, essentially, right? And even for local development, it just also tracks who made changes, right? And then the second thing, just hit your arrow, like arrow up and down arrow. It allows you to scroll between your between your commands, switch between your commands that you did in the past. So just so here I do up, so I go 2 commands up, and I will now I need to set my email. I do email, and my email will be example@example. .com. So yeah, and again, you can just get your email here.
Can you increase the size of font?
Can I? Yeah, sure, I can. Just yeah. So is this better?
Yeah, actually, I have one question actually. This git config -- global username, and you have written a name, and after that, what is the command actually? After that,
Git config dash
no,
dash
no,
get.
about that.
Yeah, so this is it. It just to check. It's not necessary. The necessary ones are this. So these.
No,
So git
no,
config global user email.
I'm asking about this actually. What this command is?
So okay, let me. It just to set your email.
Actually,
So,
yeah,
No.
that as actually Alexandra was trying to do Control C, so that's why.
Yeah, so
type
that's
of-
not
Okay.
about this Control C. Sorry, it's not on purpose. I wanted it just by accident. So don't worry.
No, okay. Actually, I thought it's a command actually. So it's giving me.
Yeah, no, it's not. It wasn't. Yeah, it was by accident, not on purpose. So yeah, sorry about it.
No, thank you.
Cool.
No issue. Actually, I thought it's a command actually. So that's fine.
No problem. So now let's just, since we are all set up, let's just do our git add. So let's type git add index.html. So what this commit will do, it will, and then let's do git status. So, and as I told you earlier, so if we refer back to these slides, so git add adds a file to a staging area, right? So it prepares, so a staging area specifies what you will put in your commit, right? So here you said git add index.html. So what it means, add index.html to your staging area. And then I just do git status, and here I just check what we have here. So changes to be committed. So essentially this means this is what is staged. So this is what will be put in a future commit. So this is in a staging area essentially, right? And red, it means it's not tracked. You see untracked files and stages to be committed. In other words, changes to be committed. In other words, it means this file is staged, right? It is located in a staging area. So then the next, if you want to remove something from staging area, you just can use this command. You see it gives you a hint. Use git rm cached file to unstage. So git rm, it's not necessary to do it for you, but I just will demonstrate. So index.html. Then if I did it correctly, and then get status, now you can see that untracked files, and now I removed index.html from the staging area. So now it's back to working directory, right? So, or there is actually git reset command that also moves a file from staging area to working directory, removes a file from a staging area. Okay? So that's it. And then what's next? If you want, if you want to add all files, all untracked files into your Imagine that you have like 10 HTML files. So it would be like a tedious process to add everything to a staging area. So to add every single file in here one by one. So there is actually a shortcut. So if you want to add all HTML files in your project, you can just do star asterisk dot and then extension of the files. So HTML. And then what it does, it adds all the files to your staging, HTML files to your staging. In this case, we just have one HTML file, so it just adds HTML. And then I will just remove it again from staging. Again, you don't. Yeah, and then if you want to add all of the files in your project to a staging area, there is again a shortcut, just do git add and then dot. And what it does, it adds all of the files in your project into a staging area. So git add, and then if I do git status, now I should be able to see that both files are in a staging area. So you can see changes to be committed. So it means they're both in a staging. So that's cool. Hopefully it makes sense. Then let's do some changes to just do whatever changes you want. So I'll just add some random text. Now, again, don't forget to save it. And then if I do git status, you can see that actually we see that modified index HTML and it's not staged for commit. And why? You see, one is here and one is here. So essentially, this is the reason that the previous version of index HTML, before I added it to the text, is in a staging area, right? But these changes, so this text is not in a staging area yet. So that snapshot is not in the staging area yet. So, and we need to add it to a staging area again. So, so to include it in commit, right? So git add everything. And now if I do git status, it means that all of the files are again in our staging. So again, now we were in working directory, and now we have in staging area index HTML and style CSS. And then we just need to commit our changes to our repository. So to do commit, we just do git commit -m, and then in quotes, you specify commit message. So commit message is essentially describes what your commit does. So in our case, we just set up the project. Okay, so this is it. So for instance, if you like added a button, imagine you added a button here, then you can say, you again will need to git add it to a staging area, and then you do git commit message, and then the message can be add a button to the screen, right? So something like this. That's about it. Then what's next on my list here? Change git to okay. Another thing is clear. So clear, what clear command means, it's just clear your screen, your console. You see, it just removes everything that was, so it's not that cluttered. So yeah, that's about it. I just see this is already 6:43, so I will skip some things because I want to get to GitHub. So yeah, let's maybe talk. So let's do another commit so it makes a little bit more sense. Let's do button. So as I said, let's do hello. So again, if I do git status, you see, again, it's not staged, so it's not in a staging area yet. These changes, so this change is not in a staging area. And to do that, I do git add again, I add it to the staging area, and then I do git commit -m, and in quotes I say add the button. Okay, and now you can see that we have everything committed. To check your commit history, you just do git log. And what this does, it actually shows you all of the commits that you did in the past, and you can see that you see author. Who is author? Me, Alexander, example at example.com. So in your case, you will be able to see your credentials, and you can see exact time when it was made and even the time zone, and then the commit message, right? And actually, I will not show it to you, but you can maybe read it in the meantime, since we have limited time. You can go back to that commit if you want to, right? And that specific point of time, so you can travel in the past essentially. So that's about it. So now we covered that part essentially. So we did git add, we reset, so remove from staging area, we used git rm cache, but you can use just git reset command. Again, you can Google it. So there is actually documentation on Git website, so you can just read about it in the meantime. And then, yeah, after the session. So that's about it. Another thing I want to talk about is branch. So branches. So what branches are, it's essentially like, again, if you work on a huge team, you want like to assign different teams to different features, right? So you want to distribute work, to distribute the workload. Essentially the standard is that when a team works on a feature, or you work on a feature, multiple like developers, they work on separate features. So each developer will use a separate branch for a separate feature, right? And master branch is essentially like clean code, perfect code that is ready for a deployment, so that it's ready for user to use, right? So this is like master should be perfect code, and then features, it's like different features that you develop, and then you can merge the branch back into master, right? And so we will talk about it now. So then what do we do? So we do, so to create a branch, we just do git branch, and we say new feature, sorry. So I create a branch called new feature, and then I do what? I switch to this branch that I just created. So to switch to this branch, I do git checkout space, and then the name of the branch you just created. In my case, it's new feature. So new feature. So now you can see that I'm on master. So this in parentheses, it shows you what branch you're on right now. And here you just specify, like, move to the next, move to your new branch. And now you can see, so switch to branch new feature, and now you can see that now it's new feature. So talking about like diagram, so imagine we did a couple of commits here. So we are in second commit, and we created new branch, new feature. So now we are on this kind of stage. So we can do, so let's, we want to add a new feature. Like, let's say I want to add something like register. I want to add register functionality. So I do register.html. I cannot spell it. So yeah, and I just do hello. Again, content is not important right now. We just talk about Git. So, and so now you can see here that if I do Git status, this change is not staged. So I need to stage it. So I do git add period. So I added this file to a staging area. And if I do again git status, we see that it's staged, right? So it's ready for commit. And then I just do git commit message, and then just add register page. Cool. And now
I have one query actually. Sorry to interrupt. Actually,
sure.
Actually, I'm not able to commit. Actually, it's telling me to run global user.email and global user.name.
Yeah, so we did run these commands earlier. You probably just missed them, but
so I have to like give my email ID, right?
Yeah, so you need so your name. So yeah, this is one command, and then you will need to do the same command with user.email and then your email. So yeah, that's
so like which email ID? Like means can I use my Gmail ID? Like is it okay? Or do I have to give any random like?
Yeah,
random...
you can preferably use your own name, since it's like so other developers can understand who you are. So yeah, essentially just use your name, or you can come up with a random one. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
No problem. Again, and then you will need to do email again. So yeah, and you will, again, if you don't keep up with something, no worries, just watch at least now. And then later you can rewatch this session because it will be uploaded to YouTube. So you can like rewatch it and practice again. So that's about it. So I just do Git, cool. So I'm now, again, pay attention. I'm now on new feature branch, right? And you can see that I have register file here, right? But if I do Git, and then I check out to my master branch, I lose this file, right? So I didn't have it here. And the reason is that these branches are not merged, right? So imagine this pink one is our new feature branch. And I did a commit here called add register page. And I didn't merge this branch into our master branch. So that's why I don't have anything, like I don't have this register page on my master. So, but if I check out to new feature again, I have this page, you see? So this means essentially that, yeah, so this commit, this HTML file is only on our new feature branch, right? And so to fix this, I need to check out to master again. So I want to merge, so to solve this issue, to put this register file in our master branch back in our master branch, you just do git merge, sorry. Okay, git merge, and then you specify the name of the branch you want to merge into master. So git merge new feature. So, and now you can see that our page is here. Yeah, this page is here. So we merged our new feature branch, and all of the commits in this new feature branch are now in master as well. So the scenario, like to give you some context, like imagine you want, again, you have many teams. One works on registration, another works on payment processing. The third team works on UI, like, right? So user interface. So, and as they go, they will add little by little, they will merge their branches after they finish their features into master, right? Usually, actually, there is a separate, okay, into master for now. I don't want to confuse you with more details, but usually just there is another branch develop that is used only for development, and master is for deployment. But anyways, it's not very important for now, so just don't want to confuse it too much. Cool. So essentially, that's about it. So we have 7 minutes, and I still have a bunch of stuff to go over. I will be very quick. So after you do this, so essentially, let's maybe switch to GitHub. We covered like a lot of concepts right now. So I just want to go to GitHub so it doesn't take too much time. Okay, so let's talk about GitHub. So GitHub is, I just, again, I was lazy. I didn't want to type the definition myself, so I just copied it from Wikipedia. So GitHub is a provider of internet hosting for software development and version control using Git. It offers the distributed version control and source code management functionality of Git, plus its own features. So essentially, like, it's a little bit confusing, but essentially what it gives you it allows you to create remote repositories. So this is all you need to know for now. It has a bunch of other cool functions, but for now that will be enough for you. So you can create remote repositories with it. So let's create our remote repository. Just go to github.com, log in. You can log in with your GitHub account, Google account. Again, you're not necessarily need to follow it now. You can rewatch it later and just follow later, like on YouTube. But I just want to show it to you. So you do repositories, you go to repositories, and you want to create a remote repository, right? So you click new repository, and then you will see this screen. So repository name will be, let's do our, first project. Well, then you can add some description. Again, private, it means that nobody else except you or like people you allowed to will be able to see your repo, your code. But if you make it public, anyone on the internet can see your repository, so they can see your code. So we'll make it public. I will skip this one, so you can add license. You can add get ignore. Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to talk about this, but yeah, due to the time limit. And then README file. Again, a little bit later, you can read about it here, learn more when you create. But essentially, README is like a description, is a long description of your project, right? But anyways, it's not that important for now. Just the most important part, repository name, and then private or public, and then you can create repo. Now you will be able to see this bunch of code. And so now we have a problem that we don't have a connection between our local repository and our remote repository, right? So the question is, how do we establish a connection between our local one, our local repo, and our global, our remote, sorry. So the way you do it is just, you need to check if you have any remote repositories defined, essentially, kind of in your computer. So to do that, you just do git remote. And if you don't see anything like I do, it means that we don't have any connections to any remote repositories. So to add a connection, you will be able to copy this line. So git remote add origin. So what this essentially means is, I'll just paste it. So we add a remote repository, and we will call this connection origin. And this is where the URL of the project, of the repository, remote repo. So I just hit enter. And now if I do git remote, now I can see that I have one origin. So if I do verbose, so V is the flag, verbose, so it like gives you a little bit more details. So essentially, you can see now the link, right, where this origin is connected to. So now the next step would be to push, right? So we resolved our issue. We have a connection between our local repository and our remote repository. So now we can do, if I go to the slides quickly, we have connection, and now we can do git push. So I can push our project to remote repo, right? So I do git push. And then to do that, again, I can just, oh, sorry, yeah. And also, so you need to do git push. And then you need, so what dash U, this is a flag. So these like dash and letter, these things are called flags. So this flag is called like upstream. And what it does, it essentially like connects your remote repo to the local one. So you say that I want to connect my, actually it's not main, it's master. So I want, so to push my local project to remote repo, we established a connection earlier, right? So I say, actually, let me type everything down. So I want to git push my local project to the global, to the remote repository. then I do -u, and then I specify which remote repository, so origin, right? We establish this connection, so I do origin, and then I do space, and then what, so in this case, it will be master. So what branch we want to connect to it, right? So in this case, master. So hit enter, and now we can see that everything is there. So now if I go to my repo, I can see the files here, right? So you can see that Alexander has edited, so it's me. And now you can see that these files that we created are actually here, and they're publicly accessible. So if I paste this link in the chat, you actually can go there now. Okay. So yeah, you can go to this repo, and essentially you'll be able to see this code. Now let's do, okay, I promise this will be the last change. I'm sorry, it's already 7, but I just want to show you this last part. So we did Git push, right? So now you know how to add, like, make your code publicly accessible. And now I want to talk about Git pull, and we are done for today. So to do that, so imagine, like, we work on, you have it again, team of 5 people, and as I mentioned here, Git is a distributed or decentralized version control. So what it means that every developer has its own copy, have their own copy of the repository of this repository on their machine, right? So if somebody does changes to your remote repository, it means that you will not be able, you don't have, these changes will not be reflected on your machine, right? So let's just give an example. So imagine somebody went to my repository, and I want to add this README file. So first project, this is project description. So imagine, like, another developer went and added this README file. So they added this description to my repository, to my project. And now you can see that my remote repository, it has this file, right? You can see it has this file, but my local repository, it doesn't have it, right? So, and the way I synchronize the changes, the way I fix it, I use Git Pull Command. So what it does, if somebody went to your remote repo and changed something, you can pull the changes on your machine, right? So you do Git pull. And so now if I do Git pull, I should see this README file on my local environment. So in this local project, local folder. So, and to do this, let's do it very quickly. I just do Git pull, and it actually should work. Cool. And now I pulled, and now you can see that I actually have this README file. So isn't that cool? Like, and now you are able to see that reflected on your machine as well. So it's as simple as that. The reason you saw that I didn't actually specify anything else after Git pull, because we already set the upstream, right? So imagine now, so hopefully it makes kind of sense. Cool. And maybe the last thing would be to just clone. So imagine you want to clone someone's repo, someone's repository. So again, let's maybe go even here. So imagine, so in the past year, we have like data structures and algorithms series that I ran actually. So, and you see that we have some files here. And imagine I want to clone this repository on my local machine. So there is actually a special command in Git. And to do that, you just need to go to this code, and then under HTTPS, you will have this URL. You just click copy, it's copied. And then you just go to the folder you want to put this repository in. So I just will cd back. So you can see that I'm in GDSC folder right now. And now if I do Git Clone, and then I paste the URL I just copied. So you do paste. Oh no, I didn't copy it. Happens sometimes. So if I do Git Clone, and then I hit, so again, so you see, I don't have any, I have only 3 folders here. And if I do enter, this repo was cloned to my local machine. So now I can view all the files that are on this remote repository. So that's essentially it that I wanted to cover today. Hopefully that made some sense. Hopefully it was helpful. I would be grateful for your feedback. So thank you so much.